Wish you all a very happy and prosperous 2023. I know this time is very crucial for all the students and especially those who are studying in class 10 and 12 and must be preparing for their upcoming board exam. I welcome you all in this channel of mine named as the English Express. I know you must be wondering why have I named it like this? It is because we are going to cover this journey of learning or improving English language in a speedy and enjoying manner. See, children, I have seen my students struggling with many topics of English language which they find difficult. And one of the most important thing that they actually find difficult is to write in English. हम कह सकते हैं कि हम एक भाषा एक लैंग्वेज को जानते हैं जब हम उसको पढ़ सकें, बोल सकें और उसमें लिख सकें. So we need to have three kinds of skills: reading skills, speaking skills, and writing skills to know a language. But as a student, writing skills are the most important because we are going to be judged by our examiners through our writings only. In this channel of mine, I'll be talking to you about those aspects of linguistic abilities which are very important for any person who is speaking in English or writing in English or reading English. Today, I am going to discuss a very important topic of writing skills of English language, that is essay or composition writing. Essay or composition writing is one of the most important or ever found question of any English language paper. तो आज हम यही बात करेंगे कि ऐसे में किस तरह से हम अच्छे से अच्छा स्कोर कर सकते हैं और उसके लिए हमें क्या-क्या चीजों की जरूरत है. As I told you that we are going to discuss about composition or essay writing. So the first and foremost thing that you need to understand is the difference between them. Children, an essay or a composition is the best thing for any examiner to know how much you know the language and about your writing skills. See, an essay is marked on the basis of two things. One is the content and other is the expression. Expression means your linguistic abilities, how you are able to express your thoughts and ideas according to the situation given in the question or according to the topic. So today I am going to talk about all these aspects, how you can write an effective essay. So as I told you, we are going to talk about composition or essay writing skills. See, first of all, you need to know the difference between a composition and an essay. A composition can refer to any creative work, be it a short story, research paper, or a piece of music. An essay is a type of composition. Please understand it is a type of composition. So what does it mean? It means that composition is a broader term. Composition is a broader term and essay is a type of it. An essay is a literary composition that describes, analysis, and evaluates a certain topic or an issue. Now let's talk further about it. Here you can see I have jotted down some points which can very well differentiate between an essay and a composition. First thing that you need to understand is that both follow the same structure of any writing, that is introduction, body, and conclusion. But essays are typically longer, more detailed, and focused on the topic. Now, when we say more detailed and focused on the topic, so it means that, of course, they have to be longer, right, in the word limit. But compositions are short in length and written in general. Essays are academic writings at a higher level. Please note this point. While compositions help students to develop writing skills, therefore are used at school level. So children, you need to understand this. Those who are preparing this topic for school level, you need to understand that you are never asked to write an essay. You are always asked to write a composition. एसेज हमेशा कॉलेज लेवल में लिखे जाते हैं, हायर लेवल में लिखे जाते हैं. कॉम्पोजिशन स्कूल लेवल पर बच्चों को दिए जाते हैं. Essays often use higher level vocabulary. Compositions are simple in language. Essays are always written in prose, while composition can be a poem or a prose, and it can be a piece of music also, as I told you. Now, there are different types of essays: descriptive, narrative, argumentative, reflective, etc. But the types of composition are entirely different. As I told you earlier, that essays are also a type of composition. So, essays, reports, letters, notice, email, diary entry, book review, film review, all these are types of composition. So, any kind of writing, is a composition. But yes, if it is a literary document, if it is a literary writing on specifically on a particular topic, written at length, which is more detailed, that is known as essay. So you can't say, those who are preparing for class 10 and 12, you can't say that essays are not in your syllabus. But yes, they are in the form of composition, because you have been provided with a specific word limit. You are not supposed to write at length like 1000 words or 1500 words. No. It's for class 10th, I think it is 300 to 350 words in ICSE. For ISC, it is 400 to 450 words. And even in CBSE, you get less than that. So they are compositions. So when they are compositions, you need to understand that you need not to be very high in your vocabulary. Of course, you need to be decent. You have to use simple and short sentences. You can be simple in your language, and as much as you use your own imagination and experience to write a composition, in that proportion only you score good marks. All right. Now, let's talk about the structure of a composition. Now, what is the structure of a composition? See, जब हम कोई बिल्डिंग देखते हैं, सबसे पहले हमारा ध्यान उसके स्ट्रक्चर पे जाता है ना. इसी तरह से हमारे राइटिंग्स में भी एक स्ट्रक्चर हमेशा फॉलो होता है, जो कि जनरली आप लोगों को बताया भी गया होगा. इट मेनली हैज थ्री पार्ट्स. वन इज द इंट्रोडक्शन, बॉडी, एंड देन कंक्लूजन. Now, I am going to further talk about these parts only and these aspects only. First of all, preparation and planning. The most important factor in writing an effective composition or essay. Preparation and planning. See, you can't randomly pour out all your thoughts and imaginations on the piece of paper. And then, you will find when you yourself read it, you will find that there is no chronology, there is no consistency. It is not giving a very clear picture of what you want to convey. So, before writing an essay, before writing a composition, you need to understand that you need to plan it first. All right? अब जब हम प्लान करेंगे तो हमें एक स्ट्रक्चर की जरूरत पड़ेगी. उसी स्ट्रक्चर के बारे में मैं आपसे अभी बात कर रही हूं. As I told you, of course, there are three parts. One is the introduction, then body which is actually made up of different paragraphs, and then conclusion. Right? So you need to know the difference. First of all, introduction. In the introduction, you tell the reader what you are going to tell them. In the body paragraphs, tell them. And in the conclusion, you have to tell the reader what you have already told them. So basically, it is about one topic, one subject only, right? The topic or the subject that has been given to you in the question. Now, please understand one thing. You are never given a specific topic for composition writing. For composition writing, you are always provided with a situation, or you may know it as question prompt. All right. What kind of question prompt? That one day you were coming back from your school, and while coming back, suddenly it started raining. And what all you observed at that time, what all you saw, describe that. So it's not that they have given you the topic a rainy day. No, they have provided you with a situation, which is known as question prompt. And what is the idea of doing that? The idea behind it is that the child or the student can easily relate himself or herself with that situation and can write his or her own experience. Okay, so what all you are going to tell them, you need to is write it in the introduction, then body paragraphs, and then conclusion. So it is a very basic thing which you all must be knowing earlier also. But now I am going to further elaborate on what all is to be given in the introduction. And then, of course, we'll be talking about paragraphs, how to form paragraphs and how to form conclusion. अब मैं आपको ये बताऊंगी कि इंट्रोडक्शन आप कैसे लिखेंगे. Okay? First of all, the first sentence of your introduction should be a broad background statement. Now, broad background statement, what do you understand by this? Whatever your topic is, just start talking about that particular topic in general. Okay, give a broad statement. Don't tell your own experience about it, because first you will begin from broad perspective and then you will tighten your composition, right? After that, in the second sentence, whatever the question prompt I have just told you, whatever the situation is given to you, or one or two sentences that have already been given as the question, in the question, you need to write them in your own words. Or you can also say, paraphrase the essay prompt, right? And the third sentence of your introduction should be your thesis statement. Now, what is the thesis statement? What will you write about? So, of course, it is going to be about that situation or the topic or the subject that has already been given in the question paper. But what you will write about, okay, that has to be specified in the introduction only. So the introduction basically has three parts. First, you need to give a broad background statement. You are going to set a background for your composition. After that, you will be describing, or you will be writing the question prompt, which has already been given in the question. You will be writing it in your own words. And then you will write about the content which is going to be followed in your composition. Okay. Now, let's understand how to form the body paragraphs. Body paragraphs means the body, of course, is formed by different paragraphs. Each paragraph is meant for each point or the main idea that you are going to highlight. Okay. Now, in what kind of composition, what kind of points are to be given, that we are going to discuss later. मैं उसके बारे में भी बात करूंगी, लेकिन पहले यहाँ पर स्ट्रक्चर को किस तरह से आपको खड़ा करना है, किस तरह से आपको अपने कॉम्पोजिशन को प्लान करना है, हम उसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. तो जो पैराग्राफ्स हम बनाते हैं बॉडी के लिए, बेसिकली देर आर 4 पार्ट्स ऑफ इट फॉर ईच पैराग्राफ. ओके, फर्स्ट पार्ट इज a topic sentence, which means the main idea. Now, what that main idea can be? For example, you are writing an argumentative composition, right? And for an argumentative composition, you need to take a stand. Either you will talk for the topic or against the topic. Once you have taken the stand, which you are going to specify in the introduction part, after that, while forming the body of your composition, you will have to give different arguments or constructives to justify your stand, right? So each constructive or each argument has to be given in different paragraph. For example, आपका अगर composition 20 marks का है, तो आप कम से कम उसमें 4 constructives तो देंगे ही देंगे. उन 4 पॉइंट्स को या उन 4 आइडियाज को या उन 4 रीजंस को जो कि आप अपनी बात को जस्टिफाई करने के लिए दे रहे हैं, आपको उनको डिफरेंट पैराग्राफ्स में लिखना पड़ेगा. और एक पैराग्राफ एक जस्टिफिकेशन, एक रीजन या एक आर्ग्यूमेंट के बारे में होना चाहिए, राइट? सो एज आई टोल्ड यू, the first sentence of your paragraph must be the main idea which is going to run through the paragraph. Please understand. Then the second sentence has to be a reason or example to justify that main idea of the paragraph. Please understand, I am not telling you to give the reason to justify the topic or the subject which has been given in the question. हम उसके बारे में बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. I think this will be more clear to you when we'll be discussing the topics for compositions. But प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड द स्ट्रक्चर. सबसे पहले हमें पैराग्राफ में अपने मेन आइडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करना है. आफ्टर दैट हम एक रीजन या एग्जाम्पल देंगे अपने उस आइडिया को जस्टिफाई करने के लिए. Then we can give another reason or example and then a sentence to conclude the paragraph. Right? So form paragraphs according to the word limit or weightage of essay. Please understand this. This is something very important. See, I have come across many students who always say कि हमने ऐसे लिखना था 450 500 वर्ड्स का एंड यू हैव रिटन इट फॉर 800 वर्ड्स 900 वर्ड्स. You are going to be penalized for that. And of course, your marks will be deducted. And even if your marks are not deducted, please understand you are running short of time. Okay, the time which you are wasting or the time you are spending on writing such a lengthy essay, first of all, you have made it an essay, though you were asked to write a composition. और जितना टाइम आपने उसमें लगा दिया, अब वो टाइम आप बाकी के क्वेश्चंस करने के लिए कहाँ से लेकर आओगे? तो it is going to spoil your time management. So please understand that follow the word limit. और हमेशा आप अपने जो पैराग्राफ्स फॉर्म करें, वो वर्ड लिमिट के अकॉर्डिंगली ही फॉर्म करें. वर्ड लिमिट के अकॉर्डिंगली फॉर्म करने का क्या मतलब है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आपको 300 मार्क्स का ऐसे लिखना है, राइट, और आप ये सोच के चलते हैं कि इंट्रोडक्शन और कंक्लूजन को मिलाकर मेरा 5 पैराग्राफ्स बनेंगे इस ऐसे में, तो हमें एक रफ आइडिया पहले से ही अपने दिमाग में होना चाहिए कि ईच पैराग्राफ मस्ट हैव राउंड अबाउट 5 6 30 60 वर्ड्स. Okay, so like if you are writing introductory paragraph in a short way, okay, आपने उसमें आपको एक idea लग गया, it is there only for 2 or 3 lines. Usually we write 10 words in a line. So if it is coming up for 30 words, so we can easily make it out like for writing other 60 words in 1 or 2 paragraphs, we can make it 80 also. Okay, we'll have that liberty. तो बेटा ये प्लानिंग तो बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि इस प्लानिंग के बिना ना तो आपका टाइम मैनेजमेंट हो पाएगा और ना ही आपको जितने पॉइंट्स कवर करने चाहिए ऐसे में आप वो कर पाएंगे. तो अगर आप चाहते हो कि आपका ऐसे प्रॉपर टाइम में हो और जो मेन पॉइंट्स हैं वो कवर हो, उसके लिए आपको ये वर्ड्स की प्लानिंग करनी बहुत जरूरी है. ऑलराइट, नाउ लेट्स कम टू द थर्ड पार्ट ऑफ इट, दैट इज कंक्लूजन. And conclusion should be there in 2 parts. First should be the summary of all main ideas that you have given in different paragraphs. अगर आपने 3 main ideas दिए हैं, अगर आपने 4 main ideas दिए हैं, उनकी summary आप उठाकर conclusion में लिखिए. And then your opinion. Please understand your opinion. Repeat your thesis line. What was the thesis line? In the introduction, the third sentence I told you that you have to write, I will be talking about this topic. So in the conclusion, so in my opinion, what you wanted to present there, you have to repeat it here in a way. Okay, so conclusion and introduction, they are always interconnected. Please understand, in whatever kind of composition that you are writing, आप किसी प्रॉब्लम के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं तो आपके कंक्लूजन में आपका ओपिनियन जरूर आना चाहिए कि उस प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन कैसे हो सकता है. आप किसी ब्यूटी के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, आप किसी हिल स्टेशन की ब्यूटी के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो आपका ओपिनियन जरूर आना चाहिए कि उसने आपको किस तरह से अफेक्ट किया. Alright, so conclusion can be written in these 2 parts. Now, in a way, we can say that the procedure of writing an essay is like planning, structure, and revision. Revise. Planning, structure, and revision is equally important. Please understand. When we said planning is to write the points roughly after reading the question. आपने question पढ़ा, you are provided with a list of topics. आपने उसमें से एक select किया कि मुझे इस topic पर composition लिखना है. After selecting that, with the help of pencil or pen on a rough sheet, आप अपने points jot down कर लीजिए. You can do it on the top of your sheet, right hand corner. Okay, your marks are not going to be deducted. Rather, I'll tell you, it gives a very good impression on the examiner that the child has prepared the composition. He has planned for it. राइट, सो ऑलवेज जॉट डाउन द पॉइंट्स. अब जब आप पॉइंट्स जॉट डाउन करेंगे और अगर आपको स्ट्रक्चर पहले से पता होगा तो आपके लिए इजी होगा. आप इंट्रो में 3 पॉइंट्स मुझे ये देने हैं, उसके बाद बॉडी पैराग्राफ्स मुझे 3 बनाने हैं. दीज आर द मेन आइडियाज दैट आई एम गोइंग टू हाईलाइट, एंड देन कंक्लूजन. Okay, so a structure, and now you start elaborating on your points as per the structure of the essay, which we have already discussed. And yes, revision is very important. Read your essay again to look for grammar, punctuation, and spelling mistakes. Children, I told you in the beginning of this video that your essay or your composition is always marked on the basis of two things. One is the content, another is the expression. Okay, so for content, it is the main ideas or the points or the reasons or the arguments or the descriptions or the narrations that you are giving in your essays according to the type of essay. Okay, and expression means your linguistic ability, how well you express yourself. And while giving marks for expression, an examiner always counts the mistakes that you have made, whether there are any grammatical mistakes or punctuation mistakes or spelling mistakes. So, why is revision important? Because when we are writing the composition, at that time, our focus is mainly on our ideas or the points that we are going to write. Okay, so when we read it again, we are able to see that yes, okay, ये यहाँ पर मैंने full stop छोड़ दिया, यहाँ पर comma रह गया, they should have been in capital letter. Oh, this is a spelling mistake. Sometimes we know the spelling, but in a flow of writing, we misspell a word. So please make it a habit. Always revise, always read your composition. Even in literature, read your answers again to know your own mistakes. I hope you have understood the structure or how to plan for your composition. Now I'm going to talk about different kinds of compositions. First of all, we have descriptive essays or descriptive compositions. A descriptive composition generally focuses on portraying a person, place, object, experience, memory through vivid details to help the readers create a picture in their minds of what is being written about. Now, here I would like to highlight, or I would like you to know, create a picture in their minds. Please understand, whenever you are writing any descriptive composition, your motive must be, your description should be so vivid that the reader, the examiner must be able to imagine what you are saying. Okay, they should be able to create a picture in their minds. Then you will be successful in giving a description. And the description can be of any person, place, object, experience, right? Great descriptive essays achieve this objective using detailed observation and description. Now, when will you be able to describe a person? अगर आपको कोई मोमेंट डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए आता है, कोई पर्सन, कोई प्लेस डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए आता है, आप उसको तभी डिस्क्राइब कर पाएंगे जब आप उसको जानते हो, जब आपने उसको ऑब्जर्व किया हो माइन्यूटली, जब आपको उसके बारे में पता हो। तो हमेशा डिस्क्रिप्टिव कॉम्पोजिशन के लिए तभी ऑप्ट करिएगा जब आप देखें कि क्वेश्चन के अकॉर्डिंगली जो भी डिस्क्रिप्शन मांगा है उसको आप जानते हैं। ऑलराइट, अनदर पॉइंट इज मस्ट बी एज अप्रोप्रिएट. Yes, it has to be. A student of class 2 cannot describe the things the way a student of class 10 or 12 is supposed to describe. It has to be age appropriate. Okay, so see, this is a topic that is always there in all classes for all boards. हम क्लास वन में भी माई सेल्फ का ऐसे करते हैं, हम किसी इंटरव्यू के लिए जाते हैं तब भी हम सबसे पहले अपने बारे में बताते हैं, राइट? तो बट what varies is the standard. Okay, so we need to understand that what all we are writing, it must be age appropriate, it must be according to our age. Then use of appropriate adjectives, description. When we are writing descriptive composition, of course, we'll have to use describing words, means adjectives. So appropriate adjectives have to be used in descriptive composition. Information must be arranged properly. Description appealing to sense organs. Now, this you can take as a method of writing descriptive composition. Method of writing. Let me tell you how. See, I told you while planning your composition, first is the introduction part. After that, you have to give in paragraphs the body. You need to form the body of your essay in different paragraphs. And those paragraphs, when you are writing descriptions, those paragraphs have to be about the sense organs. Description appealing to sense organs. What are our sense organs? We have five sense organs: eyes, ears, tongue, nose एंड स्किन. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द सेंस ऑर्गन्स, ये आप एक तरीका इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं अपने पॉइंट्स बनाने के लिए कि लाइक साइट, one point should be related, the first point of your description should be related to sight, what your eyes see. जिस पर्सन की आप बात कर रहे हैं वो कैसा दिखता है, जिस प्लेस को आप डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं वो कैसा दिखता है. ऑलराइट, अगर आप किसी ऑब्जेक्ट को डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं तो वो कैसा दिखता है. देन कम्स साउंड. देयर कैन बी वेरियस साउंडेड. जो पर्सन आप जिसको डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं वो कैसा बोलता है. जिस प्लेस को आप डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, आप किसी रेलवे स्टेशन का सीन डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, तो वहां पर किस किस तरह की साउंड्स, किस कैसी नॉइज थी जो आपको सुनाई दे रही थी, क्या आवाजें थी. स्मेल. स्मेल, दिस मे नॉट अप्लाई टू एवरीथिंग, बट यस, अगर आप किसी प्लेस को डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, आप किसी गार्डन को डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, तो आप वहां पर फ्लावर्स की स्मेल, जो उनका अरोमा है, आप उसकी बात कर सकते हैं. आप किसी रेलवे स्टेशन को डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, तो वहां जो गार्बेज से बैड स्मेल आ रही है, आप उसको डिस्क्राइब कर सकते हैं. ऑलराइट. Then comes taste. This is also like which does not apply to all topics. Of course, taste, जब हम किसी place को describe कर रहे हैं, for example, जैसे मैंने बताया, we are describing the scene at railway station. So there we can talk that there were many vendors, different selling different kinds of eatables, and you could smell them. Huh? This way you can make your points. You can get the ideas to write as points in your descriptions. And last come feel. Feel your feeling, your opinion. I told you that in the conclusion you need to give your opinion. So how you feel, if you are describing a person, what are your feelings about that person? If you have been to a place which you are describing, what were your feelings when you had been to that place? Okay, or about the object, whatever it is, whatever description you are writing. So these 5 points can be used to form the body of your composition. So whenever you are writing a description, these 2 points, smell and taste, they do not apply to everybody, every topic, but yes, sight, sound and feel, these three points, they apply to each and every descriptive essay or composition. All right. And the next point is use of simile and metaphor. Yes, simile, as busy as bee, it is a kind of comparison. It is a kind of description. Can be given in descriptive composition. Use them. Metaphors can also be used. All right. Not too many, but yes, they can give a very, they can make your compositions or your writings very effective if you use similes or metaphors in them. All right. Now the next is the examples of descriptive composition. How will you identify whether it is a descriptive composition? Of course, the word describe will be there. Some of you would be saying that, but no, you need to understand. Like, as you see, I have taken these questions from board exam papers. You were on a school trip and were on your way back to the hotel late at night when your school bus full of children broke out in a deserted area. Describe what you saw and experienced as you look around. All right. Now, when you will be planning for this composition, look at this structure first. First of all, I told you in the introduction, you need to give a broad background statement. No, now in this question, what can be that broad background statement? That background statement can be about the school trip. The topic is about the school trip. So that statement can be about the school trip. Okay. And first you give a general statement about the school trip and then you come to your own experience of the school trip. Right? And after that, so that will be the introduction. And in third line, what are you going to tell about? So you are going to tell about a mishappening that the bus broke down in a lonely area, deserted area. right? So you will give in the introduction three things only. First, you will talk in general about the school trip. Then you will tell when you went on a school trip. And in the third line, you have to tell that while coming back to the hotel late at night, suddenly our bus broke down in a deserted area. So you are going to give that account. Na? That's why you will be writing. After that, you will be forming the paragraphs. And in those paragraphs, you will be talking about first the sight, means what you all saw there. Then you will be talking about the sounds. It was the time of night, late at night. So there may be the sounds of different, as it is a deserted area, you may say that it was near the forest and there were sounds of different animals, insects. All right. Then you can talk about smell also here. You can talk about taste also here in a way that we all were feeling hungry, and then suddenly our teacher realized that there were some eatables kept in the bus, so she brought them. I could feel their smell. I was feeling more hungry when I had their smell. So this way, and of course at last you will be talking about your feelings. So this way, these points can be elaborated, and it'll be helpful for you to use this technique of sense organs. Look at some other questions also. Which of your family members do you spend the most time with? Describe your experience of being with them. So here the family members means you have to give the description of people here, persons here. In the first question, you were supposed to give the description of a place, right? Third is describe what you like about your house and give a sneak peek of your surroundings. Then imagine a time you accomplished a personal goal. Give a brief description of the goal. Here it's an object. Okay. So, or an abstract idea. So, descriptions can be written with the help of, you can build the points or the paragraphs with the help of sense organs. All right. Now, the next is narrative composition. Narrative composition or essay means narration. Narration means to tell, कुछ बताना. अब इस तरह के टॉपिक्स आते हैं जिसमें कि आपको इस तरह के सब्जेक्ट्स दिए जाते हैं where you need to narrate. Narrate what? Narrate a journey, a visit to a place, events such as weddings, ceremonies, or a quarrel, biographies of great people. You may be asked to narrate a story also. Story is also a kind of composition. All right, but it needs a different kind of handling or treatment, which I am going to talk about in further videos. Then again, it should also be age appropriate, very brief, built up to the situation. When you are narrating a journey, it's not that you can just start with like I went there and there. You need to you need to build up the situation. Okay, if you are narrating something, it has to be something special. It has to be something different, unique. Okay, so what made you come to that situation? You need to build up that situation. Then sequence of events with some reference to events happening before. Use of some description is required in narration, of course. Involvement of self means I is the center. When you are narrating something, आप अपनी कोई जर्नी बता रहे हो, कोई विजिट बता रहे हो, तो अपने बारे में तो आप बताएंगे ना. I is the center. Narrative compositions are mostly written in first person narration. And then, of course, appropriate summing up or proper ending. Now, look at some questions which usually kind of questions so that you are able to know that it is a kind of narrative composition. Narrate an experience you had when you were expected to perform well, but for some reason were not able to. Narrate what happened and why it happened. In what way did it teach you something? Then think of a time when you found yourself in an embarrassing situation. Narrate how you got into that situation, how you dealt with it, and the lesson you learned from it. Explain how your teacher has influenced your life. Refer to relevant incidents or relate appropriate anecdotes to show how the actions of your teacher and his or her example have affected your life. Now, I would like to discuss this topic. You know the kind of mistakes which usually children make. Here in this question, you are asked how your teacher has influenced your life. You need to narrate an incident or and you can give an appropriate anecdote example to show how he or she has influenced you. Children mistake by taking it as taking it as a description. And what they do, they start describing the teacher, how he or she looks, how he or she talks. No, here you need to narrate an incident which will prove how the teacher has influenced you. Okay, how were you impressed with that teacher? How that teacher has affected your life. So it's not the description, it's the narration, right? Narrate an incident when you had difficulty traveling from one place to another. Mention what made it difficult for you to travel and where did you go. Now, let me tell you the difference in tackling descriptive and narrative composition. For descriptive composition, I told you a technique: use your sense organs, sight, sound, smell, and feel and touch. But for narrative composition, when you have to build the paragraphs, okay, start asking yourself questions: when it happened, why it happened, where it happened, when, why, how. Okay, all these question words. And accordingly, you build the points because your paragraphs are going to tell that only. When you are narrating an experience, when you are narrating a journey or anything, for that you need to, you can see the questions also. Narrate what happened, why it happened, in what way did it teach you something. In the second question, you see how you dealt with it, okay, the lesson you learned from it. So to form the paragraphs or the body of a narrative composition, it's better you keep answering the questions: why, what, when, how. This way you will be able to have the points, right? Now the next is argumentative composition or essay. So argumentative means debate-like topics. Debate-like topics means a sentence is given to you, a situation is given to you, and you have to write either for, it means in favor of it, or against it. You cannot sit on the fence. You cannot, talk about both the things. No, you have to take a clear stand. So, argumentative composition may begin with an incident, anecdote, news item, or other reference to prove a stand. In the beginning, in the introduction only, as I told you, first you are going to set your background statement. After that, you will be describing. After that, you'll be writing the prompt which is given in the question in your own words. And then you are going to tell, I will write for the topic or against the topic. Okay, you need to take a clear stand in the very beginning of your composition. One definite stand has to be taken. Establish the stand through examples, justifications, or arguments. At least four I have written here. It depends on the weightage of the question. So, I told you, I gave you an example also. If you're writing an argumentative composition, for building the paragraphs, performing the paragraphs as the body of your composition, it's better that you give one justification or one reason in each paragraph, right? Touch of humor is preferable, and tone must be assertive but not didactic. Didactic means giving morals. You should uh, write facts, real facts, rather than you should write what is there, then what should be there. All right. So the tone has to be assertive but not didactic. Now look at the type of questions that you get for argumentative composition. The number of working days in schools and colleges in academic year should be increased. Write for or against the statement. Rich nations should forego the debts of poor countries. Write for or against. So for or against, you are given a choice. You are not supposed to do both, right? Let me tell you, I will be giving the link of this PPT in the description box. So you can have it anytime. You can go through it anytime you want, right? Whenever you have to revise the things. Okay, now reflective or expository composition may be written as a narrative, descriptive, discursive, or as a short story. So reflection, meaning thoughtfulness, right? So when you have to think about it, and such topics are always given in one word. Okay, so only one word is given to you, and you can treat that word in any way. You can write a narrative composition on it. You can write a descriptive also or a discursive also. And you can even make a story, okay, with that word as a theme. Not a general discussion on the topic like textbook information is given in such compositions. Some of the best compositions are on such a topic since the writer has the freedom to explore it in his or her own way. Now, I have given here only some examples like honesty, memories, humor, greed. You can treat it any way you want. Okay? Now, the next is discursive compositions or essays. Discursive means a statement is given to you, and you may completely agree with the statement, you may completely disagree with the statement, you may partially agree with the statement or partially disagree with the statement. So in such compositions, you have full liberty to write either for it or against it. Talk about both the things, positive aspects and negative aspects as well, right? So use examples, anecdotes, real or imaginary incidents, news reports, personal experiences to justify the statement. If not able to take a stand, better choose this topic. Okay, like in argumentative, if you are, for example, you have taken the stand for the topic, you in the beginning you have said that you'll be writing for the topic, and if by chance you give any point which is going against it, then your marks will be deducted, you'll be penalized for that. But in discursive composition, it doesn't happen. Look at some examples. The Constitution of India guarantees freedom of speech and expression, but not the right to offend. Express your views on this statement. Candidates should be awarded only grades in the school board assessments. Express your views. So you have been asked to give your views. Your views can be in favor of this statement and they can be against it also, or both, right? So you just have to express your views. Like contemporary cinema is highly educative. So you, in the same composition, you may say, yes, to some extent it is educative, but there are ways in which it is not. Okay, so you can talk about both the things in discursive compositions. I hope I have been able to make you understand how to write a composition effectively. And I expect that now you'll be, making much use of all the techniques that I have told you. And it will give you uh, an idea of how to plan your essays. Please understand, without planning your essays, you cannot write them effectively. So plan your essays, jot down the points, then with the structure that has been given to you, elaborate on those points. And yes, I'm very sure you'll be able to write an effective essay. So that's all for today. And I want that you should write some compositions. My email address is also given. If you want me to read your essays or your composition, I would love to do that. You can send them to me. And yes, please also tell me the topics that you want to discuss with me, that you want me to explain through the comment box. Your suggestions, your ideas, your ways for me to improve are always welcomed. Bye bye.